Hey guys, every week we put in a ton of effort to bring you a spine-chilling animated horror story. So if you're enjoying the stories from our Bloody Monday channel, make sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Frankenstein Refti was a small, cold, and quiet village nestled in the mountains of Italy. It was night time. Thick clouds covered the sky, and with the gusts of wind, you could faintly hear the church bell ringing. Vittorio was a 14-year-old skinny, lanky boy. He was walking back home holding a small pouch in his hand. He had just bought some bread and a bit of cheese from a village shop, and the road was completely deserted. Suddenly, he heard footsteps behind him. The moment he heard that, he stopped dead in his tracks. He felt like someone was standing right behind him, breathing, maybe a tall, broad guy. Vittorio turned around to look, but there was no one there. Then, out of nowhere, lightning flashed in the sky, and in that flash, he saw a man standing on the empty road. The man was made up of different pieces of rotting bodies, with wires coming out from various places. The monster stood right there, grinning, reeking of rotting, putrid flesh. In its hand was a half-decayed animal body, with copper wires sticking out of it. Seeing that, Vittorio's throat went dry. He didn't think twice, he just ran. But after a bit, he felt like the monster was chasing him. Vittorio ran even faster, and when he reached near the church and looked back, the monster had vanished into the darkness by the side of the road. Vittorio ran straight to his Uncle Aaron's house, where he had been staying there for days. Actually, his parents had died 2 months ago. People were just calling it an accident, trying to brush it off. But Victor knew that monster was the one who killed them. When their bodies were found, there were copper wires, acid stains, and burn marks from electricity on them. Victor had been silent ever since. His uncle, an old surgeon, often said that Victor's parents were doing experiments that went against the laws of nature. Victor was really scared of that monster. One night, Victor was sleeping in his room when suddenly, he felt really cold. A strong gust of wind blew into his room. When Victorino looked, his window was open. But that was strange, because he always closed the window before going to bed. As he got up to close it, he saw the shadow of a tall, broad man. Suddenly, heavy rain started pouring outside, and thunder rumbled. In that flashing lightning, he saw the terrifying monster again. This time, the monster was holding the severed heads of Victorino's parents. Screaming, Victorino ran to his Uncle Aaron. But when they entered the room, they didn't see anything at first. But when his uncle touched his head, they realized Vittorio had a high fever. Uncle Aaron gave him some medicine and put him to sleep. But the next morning, when Vittorio opened his eyes, he saw little dead animals lying outside his room. Their different body parts were stitched together, and all of them had marks from electric shocks. Thin copper wires were scattered around them, like someone was trying to connect them into something. Vittorio tried to show this to his uncle, but when they went back together, they saw it again. Nothing was visible. The whole village had started saying that Vittorio had completely lost his mind. Whenever he was alone at home, you could hear him crying and screaming. Not whost that Vittorio only ever talked about that monster. Many times, he was seen wandering around, carrying dead animals, and begging for help to save his life. Back then, a lot of doctors and scientists believed that a dead body could be brought back to life by giving it electric shocks. Because of this, many experiments were conducted, and as a result, inspired by Mary Shelley, a writer, there was a book called Frankenstein. It's about a scientist named Victor Frankenstein who creates a really terrifying monster. Victor's parents were also scientists, and the doctors thought he was connecting his parents' deaths to the monstrous story and actually believing it. Everyone started making fun of Victor so much that he stopped going outside altogether. No school, no playground, no visiting anyone's house. He just hid away at his uncle's place. But Uncle Aaron, he trusted what she said. One night, they finally sat him down and told him the whole truth. They explained that his parents were actually conducting an experiment to bring a dead body back to life, but it went wrong. The body they were experimenting on was made by stitching together parts from different people. The head they were using belonged to a man who had died a horrific death. In one of Vittorio's parents' experiments, that man had been burned alive. Only his face was left intact. Since his death, Vittorio's mother had been haunted by his spirit. It started showing up all over the house. That terrifying spirit took over the dead body that Vittorio's parents had created for their final experiment. To get revenge, The spirit used that horrible body to kill Victorio's mom and dad. Just as Victoria's uncle was explaining this to him, suddenly all the lights in the house started flickering. There was loud banging on every window and door, and before they knew it, they all flew open on their own. At the same time, all the lights went out. The whole house was plunged into darkness, and a strong, freezing cold filled the air. A gust of wind blew into the house. Along with it came a weird smell, the stench of rotting flesh. Vittorio was really scared. His uncle Aaron was trying to comfort him, but deep down he was just as terrified. Somehow, he found a candle in the dark and lit it. But in the candlelight, Vittorio saw something truly horrifying. Right behind Uncle Aaron was a huge shadow, the long, broad silhouette of a terrifying monster. The moment Uncle Aaron turned around, the candle went out. He tried to light it again. When he lit the candle this time, it sent chills down his spine. Because in that light, for the first time, he saw that terrifying monster. It was standing right in front of him. The same, half-burnt face, its body wired up with copper wires, and something dripping from its hand. Its eyes were completely white, like lightning flashing in the dark. Uncle Aaron stepped back, but his foot got tangled in some copper wire. The monster grabbed Uncle Aaron's neck with its hands and lifted him into the air. Electric shocks surged through Aaron's body. At that moment, Uncle Aaron's breathing stopped, and within seconds, his whole body had turned black. Suddenly, hearing his screams, the neighbors came running. When they went inside, they saw little Vittorio sitting next to his uncle's body, crying. Copper wires were wrapped around Aaron's body, and the same burn marks were on his face. Some people tried to shake him, but his body was cold. His eyes were open, and the blood had clotted. He was gone. The monster wasn't anywhere to be seen, but seeing Aaron's condition, they realized that maybe Vittorio had finally faced that monster. I was telling the truth. After this incident, Vittorio was sent to a boarding school in France, far away from Rawati village. But even after he left, the deaths didn't stop. Sometimes they'd find a burnt animal, sometimes a person, and everywhere there were copper wires. Slowly, people started leaving the area. But even today, maybe that monster, maybe that Frankenstein, is still wandering around that same village. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Kuni Monday.